Welcome to NC Political Tea, the show where North Carolina's political scene gets served piping hot, grassroots style. We're here to shake up the status quo with unapologetically conservative takes and a whole lot of Southern charm. From the halls of Congress to under the dome, we're exposing the deals, the drama, and the dirt that the mainstream media won't touch. Who's fighting for your freedom? Who's selling out to the woke mob? And who's about to get roasted? No fluff, no filters, and absolutely no time for spineless politics. Just bold Republican commentary, sharp analysis, and enough sass to make the left squirm. So grab your sweet tea or something stronger, and let's dive into the hottest headlines and juiciest scandals rocking the Tar Heel state. This is NC Political Tea, where the truth always gets served.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I've missed you.
Well, I've been here.
Well, we've been busy.
I've been
It's
here.
summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a show, I think last week, about looking into Iran, the deal, etc. I had on Rashid and the Friends of Kurdistan CEO. And we really went into it. And it's pertinent because if you're listening to national news, it's really dominating. Actually, it's dominating Twitter if you're on there, or X. It's dominating everything.
Yeah. It's crazy what's been going on in the world.
Yes. But every time I open the newspaper or every time that I read X, the local news, I'm seeing stuff like this.
Me too. It's really gross. I honestly didn't know there were that many perverts in the world. It's just
it's localized here, and we're going to get into that. Apparently, there's around 280,000 registered sex offenders living in North Carolina. But this is just one of the months for the Invictus Project, which we're going to talk about. But people preying on our kids, we've known about that. Whoops, where'd you go? We've known about that because we talk about it in the context of teachers all the time.
Well, here's another piece that people don't talk about. North Carolina allows sexual predators who have been convicted in other states the most lenient path to move. We allow them to move here, and we do a very, very poor job of tracking them and making sure that people are aware they're here. And I'm talking about federal offenders as well as state offenders in other states.
What does doing a good job look like?
Well, they honestly don't know where some of these people are. Let's just be frank about it. There are people in Asheville that we know are there from other states, from Illinois for sure. And they have not been, they're not checking in with any parole officer or anything. They're just wandering around in North Carolina. Like, why do we have to have them here? Florida won't take them. South Carolina won't take them, but we will.
But, okay, so you're saying that we're unique in that we take them.
We allow them to move.
Okay. Explain.
Well, we have parole officers supposed to be watching these people, and they're not.
Okay. I mean, that's news to me. It's horrific, and it's yet another thing that we need to tighten up on. But right now, I misspoke, 28,000 registered sex offenders. That's registered. We know that a lot of these psychopaths don't register, right?
Well, and what you're not talking about is the ones that North Carolina lets off the registry. So they've committed crimes and they do their time, and it's not permanent. They may have an 11-year sentence or a 7-year sentence on the registry.
And the recidivism rate is outrageous.
Correct.
We know they're a lot of times habitual. So having that lifelong registry is important. So look, since March 2026, I mean, I'm just spotlighting from March forward. It's been going on since 2024, this Invictus Project. I'll explain it. Multi-agency teams like Craven County Sheriff Department, which we talked about, Homeland Security, SBI, they put together these task forces. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight to make arrests of child predators, which is important, and exploiters. I mean, we're going to tell you some stuff tonight we were not aware of before we did the research for the last couple of days.
And we weren't not aware of how many people aren't aware of this, to be honest with you. I didn't realize, like, in my own community, they're not familiar with who lives next door to
Parents.
them.
Well, parents. I mean, we're parents.
Right.
And I didn't know this stuff. The crackdown, I mean, it's real. We're going to tell you about it. It's happening through coordinated efforts by, like I said, Cybercrimes Unit, SBI, Invictus. So, nationally, the numbers are staggering. In 2025 alone, there was 21.3 million cyber tip line reporting suspected child exploitation.
Well, and
21.3 million.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch that hearing with Tim Tebow in Congress, it was staggering. And it's white males predominantly.
Right. The stats are crazy. I mean, the online reports, just the online reports alone, jumped 156% to 1.4 million. That's just the online. And a lot of times that is an entree for the in-person and even kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
So they're using these different platforms like, Snapchat, of course, Meta is involved.
Twitch, because that's where kids are, Roblox.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anything that has a vanishing chat, it seems to be a popular one.
Yeah, for sure. So FBI arrested 1,700 child predators last year, a 10% increase, and about 2,700 victims. This is nationally. Here in North Carolina, this Invictive Task Force, I'm going to tell you, Invictus, we're going to talk about what they are, what they do. They just formed in January 2024. So they've already made, get this, over 200 arrests of child predators in 2 years.
Yeah, it's real. And interestingly enough, I happen to know somebody who went to high school with me was on one of those lists, and I was shocked. But you know how they got on there? I guess it's child porn that's sent to them in email, and then they forward it. I'm not saying they're innocent by any means, but I didn't even realize that what the degrees or what the levels of all these people are doing to be put on that list.
Because we're going to talk to them a little bit about victimology and some of the profiles of the suspects. Look, everyone a lot of the people we're talking tonight are still suspects. Some of them have been convicted and pled guilty. But like you said, it's, we like to spotlight the ones that the prosecutors and the investigators feel like they're going to make the case stick, rather than someone accused someone in a child custody case, for instance. Which
no, absolutely not. They're going after forensic records and cyber records and things like that. True evidence, not.
You're good. You're really good at this because you're in cybersecurity. So tell us a little bit what you know, right, about how you would go about that. Like, let's say that someone has some stuff on their phone and then they said, well, I don't have it anymore, or whatever.
Oh, no, that's not it. Listen, if it's on your phone, it's forever on your phone. You cannot delete it. It is still be in the archives in your basically your hard drive. You can keep it from view, but you can never delete it.
Okay. And so, even if you've lost your phone or it's not backed up to the cloud, like,
Well, here's the biggest problem with that. First of all, your email is not your email. It still resides on a server by the carrier or the provider, the IPO, whoever you use. They still have copies of your email, and they can still trace through IP address exactly where that email content started, transported through the network on, and ended up.
Okay, good. So these predators really can't.
Same with
ahead.
Same with text messages, Sloan. Even if they're not on your phone, they're still there.
Okay, good. I like to see that we have ways of apprehending these bastards. You said something earlier that they are more, these offenders are more educated. So statistically, when you look at just all felonies, apparently 6% have a college degree. And it's only a little bit different. So 10% of sex offenders have degrees because, get this, they are going to be your teachers, your pastors, your counselors, anything that has
Big brother.
Yeah, volunteers with Big Brother and Big Sister. We've seen a lot of that where, you know, big community people, they're doing perverted shit in the background.
Yeah. But because those are the positions that instill trust in parents a lot of times, and have closer relationships with young people that normally parents won't like let their kids have.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about access too. So think about
Correct.
that. 30% of minors report some form of online interaction with someone they believe was an adult that did stuff like soliciting nude pictures or explicit messages. 30%. That's insane.
I think it's probably higher than that. They're just not reported. You know, that's the ones that are reported. I bet you it's higher than that.
Yeah, self-reporting, because you got to figure that a kid is going to not report something.
Correct.
Because then the mother takes away the TikTok account.
Exactly.
So, okay. So traditional offline abuse still occurs, but it is a gateway to meeting in person. That's the problem, is that they're groomed online through even school apps. We've seen it.
Well, and what we find a lot of times, and you'll see this a lot, especially if you're on X or Facebook, be on the lookout, or I've lost my child. What has happened? What has really happened? The child has been groomed and has taken off with an adult that they've met online.
A lot.
It's 9 out of 10, I bet you. I can't say that for sure, but it's pretty, I would say 9 out of the 10 we find online.
And there, you know, the girls that I see, that has happened, where a 13-year-old will take off and 2 weeks later be found with an adult or 2 or 3 men. We have a lawmaker here in North Carolina who had to step down, a Democrat, of course, Cecil Brockman, who, I don't know all the details, but allegedly ended up with a minor child living with him. And that's kind of what happened. That came from another state.
I think in his case, he's been accused of statutory rape. I'm pretty sure he has.
Right. I mean, his trial has not.
He's denying it, by the way.
Yeah, he's denying it. His trial has not taken place yet, but that's what the evidence suggests. So, but anyway, I mean, again, educated guy, well-liked guy in the community. I think he had a couple of learning centers also, right?
They were like drop-off centers after school that you could do your tutoring. And so once again, trusted in the community, had access to young
lawmaker,
people.
Elected official.
Trusted in the community, not just trusted in the community locally for his position, but he also had these aftercare centers that you could go to do tutoring, which made him look like even a better guy.
But it's all about access. So
correct.
With access to children, unfortunately, you know, these pervs will exploit. Okay, so 90%, up to 90% of child abuse is committed by someone the child knows
and trusts. It could be very close family members. It could be a family member. It could be a relative. It could be a pastor. It could be your daughter's boyfriend. Weird things, but that's normally how they meet them, is through close contact and the ability for them to come around the family.
Correct. And be trusted. I mean, my grandmother had a saying, and I think I've said it a lot of times to you. The brighter the image, the darker the negative. So if you see a teacher that is typically, I mean, it could be male or female, but typically a male, this is kind of the archetype for them, where they stand out, right? They're the fun teacher. They have kids over to the house, whatever. Doesn't mean they're doing anything. Does make it probably incumbent upon you to double click on that and make sure.
Right.
So that's what I would do. Predators
just don't leave your kids alone with other people.
Well, I don't know. When they're a teenager, etc., you must want them out of the house with other people, and that's going to happen. I've got to. I mean, they come, they go, etc. But just do double click on that. And if you really listen in, I have kids over at the house, my kids' friends. They'll talk about teachers. You can get a lot of intel from listening to the ones that come up in conversation. So
you're right. It's not just teachers, it's people around the school. They know the janitor staff. They know people around the school that volunteer, or PTA presidents, all that kind of stuff. They know them all.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
with churches.
and they do talk. And the funny thing is, we're not seeing a lot of teachers that come forward with reports about people in their own profession doing stuff. It usually has to happen after several children have been hurt and a parent intervenes and find messages on the phone. So I'd like to see more of that, quite frankly.
Yeah, I would too.
So
I don't understand why they wouldn't. Get in for being abused, but they won't turn a teacher in. It's weird.
Well, we were not hearing of it. If it's happening, we're not hearing of it. So predators do look normal. They're even respected. We just talked about that. And it just, it's one of those things where we got to keep an eye on. So look, the Invictus Project is, like I said, it came together in 2024. And so Randolph County with Sheriff Greg Seabolt, who's a friend of mine, that's the home base for it. If you know Representative Neil Jackson, that's his area. So already passionate about kids, kid safety. Alamance County, Davidson County, Forsyth, they're all part of this. I think there's 7 sheriff agencies.
You know what is not in there, but it sits around there? Guilford.
Yeah, I don't think Guilford's a part of it. Actually.
That's crazy.
We're seeing a lot of, yeah. We're seeing a lot of them go to Guilford. Obviously, Greensboro. It's a hub for gangs. Obviously,
we've seen sanctuary city, and a county, pretty much.
Yeah.
Greensboro is a sanctuary city.
Well, anytime you have Democrats run something, it's going to turn into an unmitigated shithole, and Guilford does not disappoint.
No, lately especially, they've been kind of crazy.
Right. So Homeland Security, I mean, it's great to have that sort of partnership, because if you need to tap into something digital, like we just talked about, you're going to be able to do it. So they had this Operation Cupid. This really caught my eye. Cursed Cupid. Again, I'm going to double click on some of these, because I mean, some of these are some really wild ass stories, but this is in Nash County. Nash County is also a participant. So I'm going to play something from the press conference, and it really kind of lays out the variety of people that were arrested and kind of what happened. So
January, undercover investigators began posing as children, ranging from age 5 to 15 years of age, engaging with individuals who were actively seeking to exploit them. During the week of February 16th, more than 150 law enforcement officers, deputies, agents, and investigators came to Nashville to execute this operation. What we anticipated would be impactful quickly proved to be more prevalent than any of us ever expected.
Damn.
After thousands of man hours and work that is still ongoing, this operation has resulted in 16 offenders taken in custody, which are photographed to my right.
Okay, so that is a hell of a lot of resources that they're putting on this, and it's super, super important.
Look at those weirdos.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything more important, actually, than taking care of our children. And this is,
But here, Sloan, these people were masquerading as something they obviously don't look like.
Yeah, they were. And I want to profile, not in this raid, but another one. There is, this is going to blow your mind. So there is this is a case I want to double click on. There's a former Wake County teacher. He was a CTE instructor. That means like a trade instructor at, oh my God, what school? Rollsville High School. Him and his wife were arrested.
It was an assistant principal.
Well, so the guy was not. He was just a teacher.
His wife.
He was a youth pastor for a very long time. So 4 counts of soliciting child by computer, 4 counts of indecent liberty with a child, 10 counts of disseminating obscenity. Again, in school, right, they've lowered the bar for what obscenity is, obviously, which we've been raising hell about. 1 count of felony possession of Schedule 1. Schedule 1 is like coke, meth, heroin, maintaining a dwelling. Now, this woman, who I'm going to add this to, that's his wife. That's was the vice principal of Rollsville High School. Look how beautiful she is. This is the couple. They're like an influencer, etc. Right. She is alleged. It's alleged that she was in possession of Schedule 1 narcotics. Now, he didn't look the same. He looked like shit when he was brought in, which is exactly what we would expect, right?
Right.
So apparently, Holly Springs police was also involved in this. Apparently, a Holly Springs police officer is the one that this sicko allegedly reached out to and thought it was as a girl. So he was trying to recruit boys, allegedly.
So they were the guinea pigs or the decoys?
The Holly Springs PD, yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
And so she's a vice principal. He's a teacher there. He's a youth pastor. Again, anything with access. And that really is disgusting.
Have they been arraigned already? And do we know where their case is?
I have not been following the case, but this is just in March. Arraigned, very likely. Arraigned is when you first get out and see the magistrate for the first time. So I'm sure they've been arraigned. Has the case been adjudicated? Some of these cases can take up to 2 and 3 years, and that becomes a real problem because I read about this one guy also was a teacher. If I can pull this up, and I'm going to try to, it appears, according to his LinkedIn, that now he is not teaching, but now he is some sort of counselor or running his own business to. A
teaching consultant.
Yeah.
That's another new one. You know, there's a lot of those.
Let's see if this is it. If it's not it, I'm not gonna spare you.
My least favorite day as a teacher.
Yeah, it is.
Was the day test scores came back.
Oh crap!
Because
guys. Okay, it's this guy. I'm gonna pull up his name here. Hold on.
Does he have a TikTok?
Teacher was the day test scores came back. Because I had students who worked hard, learned the material, did everything they were supposed to do, and then still didn't pass. And I'd watch their faces drop when they saw their score. The hardest part, some of those students knew the material. They didn't fail because they didn't understand.
Now, this man is Christopher Tuff, who is also a teacher and third grade teacher. Some online also suggest that he is a foster parent, but now it appears, according to his LinkedIn, that he is operating as a consultant. And if you watch that video, I don't know, I would hire him, right? I would not. I mean, I now know because of my profession, I know that, but he looks like a reasonable guy, right? And look at him explaining things.
They froze. They psyched themselves out. Their brain went into survival mode. And no one had taught them how to handle that. That is the part I wish I had understood sooner, because this is fixable.
So it sounds like an expert.
Free class. That's a big red flag. What are you giving your stuff away for free for?
That appears to be his LinkedIn account. I matched the shot, everything where he lives. So it means, I really want to bring this up, you guys. People can wait 2 and 3 years before a case is fully adjudicated, and they're presumed innocent until they're convicted.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is things change in 2 or 3 years. And I obviously know that cases take forever. But in 2 or 3 years, a lot of things change. I mean, kids grow up, right. They have different memories. They don't want to be involved because they've grown past that point, and they don't seek attention. At some ages they do, but they don't want to make waves. So a lot of things change, and it's a big deal when these cases go on for years and years.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's very impactful for the family. Family doesn't feel like they have justice. And so, a lot of stuff is kind of embedded in that. I mean, look, we've seen a lot of ministers. You'll have the left who likes to make a lot of hay out of this and say, actually, the teachers union right here in North Carolina, they like to point out every time. Yeah,
it's not a union.
It's not a union, but they like to point out, you guys never talk about pastors getting arrested, etc. but you never talk about teachers getting arrested. And it's generally every other week. And moreover, we know, and we always discuss very openly here, predators go and pretend like they are a teacher or a pastor or whatever to have access to children.
Yeah, and I find it funny. They always want to say, look at this Republican or this person on the right that's a pedophile. There's just as many on the left. I mean, this is not a party-related thing, and people need to get that stuff out of their head. It's about the kids. It had nothing to do with politics.
Well, Democrats, everything's political. You can't go to a damn basketball game without something being political.
Or a barbecue.
You cannot go to the grocery store.
That's true. You can't go to the grocery store and say something and they might arrest you. You just never know.
Well, that would be a terrible, terrible development. So anyway, we're going to switch gears and talk about, this is a horrible case, but it's Danielle Moody. So we've been covering this for the last several months, but this is a beautiful child who, in Charlotte, fell through the cracks at DSS. In fact, there were no cracks. There was a big, wide open gate.
It was an earthquake that sucked her in.
The child was locked in a dog crate. Yeah.
And there had been multiple calls, 5 preceding reports about this poor child.
These women were arrested. Terrible. I mean, what happened?
I really don't know the circumstances for these women specifically. I know that DSS had gone out on 5 separate occasions and done 5 separate reports, that the reports that were made were what they stated is in the hearing is that they have a gap between a report that deserves coverage by the police department and the DA. They don't have a good communication system to get that from red alert to a police officer to a DA to get it charged immediately. They said that was one of the biggest issues. And this, of course, was the case that broke the camel's back.
Just constant inaction, constant failure, constant inaction, constant laziness, if you will. I'm going to pull up, you said something about a hearing. I'm going to pull up this.
A legislative hearing, by the way. They were called before. There you go.
So what's going on? Yeah, let me explain that. So the Oversight Committee, House Oversight Committee, which has been doing great work. I mean, they've been doing everything from pulling in DHS to query about Medicaid fraud, etc. To
the crazy books in the library in Durham County.
Schools. Yeah. I mean, so there's been they've been doing great because I've been bitching for years. I'm tired of legislation. Oversight is a key function of the legislative branch, and they were not doing anything. So I'm glad they are.
They've had some banger hearings, and this one was a banger hearing where they called in the DSS director, the DSS department head.
Quite frankly, the thing that pissed me off, you'll see this in this clip, is her attitude, this haughty attitude. A child is dead. By the way, there's so much going on there. The child being dead is part and parcel. It's a feature, not a bug of the DSS in places like Charlotte. Bertie County is another one.
Don't get me started about my county, because there should be people in jail and they're not. But I will say this one thing people don't realize is if you have a county that doesn't have enough foster parents or something, they'll transport your child to another county. Well, guess where kids from my county go when they don't have foster care? They go to Charlotte. That's a 5-hour drive.
Well, I have been in the foster care system, full disclosure, and the same thing happened to me. And what that means is a parent, let's say, if they were on drugs and they're working their way back into the child's life, a 5-hour drive isn't feasible.
One way. That's right. It's not. And the other thing is, this is a call for people who have good hearts and good intentions. If you could be a foster parent, please be one, because no child should be 5 hours away from their parent. Because let me tell you something. A kid doesn't care if their mother's an addict. A kid does not care if their father's been to jail. They love their parents. It's not something that is easily broken. help them keep their family as close together as you can.
Well, and in cases of abuse, we
That's
need,
different.
well, we need foster parents for sure.
Absolutely.
So that's a good plug. But anyway, so I found it.
You can't say I'm heartless.
I found it repugnant to look at what happened in the
Things cannot be true at the same time. Which is it?
Okay, so you're looking at Alan Chester, Nash County. In fact, Alan was at the SBI hearing that we played for you earlier. So he's involved with this child stuff. But what you're looking at on the right is the head of DSS Mecklenburg in Charlotte. Go.
The three cronies. The director, I would call the gentleman's like the CEO of the department. She's the director in the pink is the director of DSS, and in the center is kind of the statistician.
Which one qualifies for the removal of a child and the intervention of your body to preserve life? You can pose that as a hypothetical.
Wow.
That's the problem. The inaction. The freezing when people are counting on you to respond.
I mean, you're under oath, you're in a hearing, you're deposed. By the way, let's go back. You applied for the job. Don't apply for a job where you have to be responsible and accountable to the public and children and families.
There was another interaction between Alan Cheshire and Representative Cheshire and the gentleman who's the head, where they had listed a strength that they had 60% of their cases being worked appropriately. And they said that was the benchmark of success in North Carolina. And Alan Chester said that is not the benchmark or the minimum.
That's
and why
failure.
would you ever want to be on the minimum side of anything? But they had the Mecklenburg folks had listed it as a strength, and Alan was saying that's a weakness. And he tried to show them that they even misinterpreted the guidelines and the benchmarks to make themselves look stronger than they were. It was really powerful.
40% of your cases falling through the cracks is a failure.
That's right. 30% is a failure.
Yeah. And they were touting it. I mean, I got to tell you, stupidity is overrepresented in the population in America. And I believe, sadly, in government workers. And that's what I've observed in these hearings. Well, and I'm not saying that I'm saying that maybe the wrong people are opting into this work who think they can just coast by.
I honestly believe, like, one of the things that the director said I felt was really stupid. She said that there's a lot of burnout. Well, listen, there's no reason you can't have a volunteer with you that you train, that you certify. If you can be a guardian ad litem, why can you not be trained to work with these people to help them? There are people that would gladly do that for free if they knew it would make a difference.
Retirees comes to mind.
I would do it. I would do it on the side. I can tell you, I volunteered to be a foster parent here in my county. They never called me back. Can you imagine what a kid would have at my house?
I was gonna say they have a good time at your house. Let me tell you something. They'd be on the opposite end. They'd be spoiled rotten. So
yeah, well, that's what I wanted. I wanted to spoil a kid, but I got a dog because they wouldn't call me back.
You treat the outfits for this dog that Margot has. Can we talk?
Oh, about the raincoat.
Shoes, raincoat. The dog has probably a bigger closet than I do.
He has a car. What are you talking about? He has a car. He knows that back seat is his.
Yeah. So, I mean, the animal is completely spoiled. The animal's spoiled. So, that's the thing, is that keeping children near their parents is important. Foster homes are important. These women that were the foster parents for this child had 10 arrests.
How were they foster parents? They take kids away from people like that.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So the placement was wrong, being called out was wrong, the referral was wrong. They were keeping the child was 27 pounds.
I know. 6 years old.
So, well, I mean, the one thing I like that came out today that, again, the oversight chairman is doing great. Brendan Jones, we've had him on here a couple times, because DSS sat there like a knot on a log. They are requesting that Spencer Merriweather, the DA in Charlotte, actually launch an investigation, criminal investigation, into every employee that failed Dominique Moody in her case. I don't know if federally, because I mean,
if they can be indicted federally.
Well, I don't know if they can. I really don't know if the way our state is structured that Jeff Jackson can prosecute, but I don't expect Spencer Merriweather to do anything.
To do a damn thing. Listen, let me just tell you from a county experience where 42 kids were taken from their parents with a fake legal document. Nobody went to jail. Not one person. They got a slap on the wrist. They got to plead in all cases. One was the sheriff's wife, and one was the attorney that made the fake legal document. Neither of them went to jail, and it's cost our county $50 million that we have to pay back for the settlement to these children. But nobody went to jail, so there's no accountability. And I brought that up to Grant Campbell when he put his video up, because it's not just Mecklenburg. This is across North Carolina, and these people are not held accountable. If I did that, if I stole somebody's kid, they'd put me in jail. They'd call it kidnapping.
You know, these small towns and their police forces and their other agencies are getting away with a lot of duplicitous shit.
Absolutely. You know, whether they'll make you a criminal even if you're not one, and the criminals don't go to jail.
Well, we're seeing that a lot. And in small towns, I mean, you really will see this in Vermont. Yeah. Okay. You know, Todd, you're right. And I've seen a lot. Actually, I don't know how I got on this one night, but I was watching YouTube with this particular lawyer. I'm going to find out who he is, but he specializes, Todd, in these sort of cases where parents have had their child taken away. I mean, like in California, I believe he's out of, but they have qualified immunity complete. So they have to do something completely egregious. And in that case, if there's qualified immunity, I've learned this in any profession, good lawyers are reticent to take a case from somebody because 9 out of 10 times they cannot break that qualified immunity. So they don't want to take a person's money. And so they go, you see?
Yeah. Oh, and here's another thing. Just so you know, the kids I really do love children, and I really do try to champion them. Currently, there's a case it's not a case, but it's an event that's occurring in Texas where a very young girl, I think she's 2 or 3, her name is Anna Lee. She's on life support because she was in a drowning incident. And the hospital, Texas Children's Hospital, wants to take her off life support. So when the parents decided they wanted to do something about it, the hospital said, well, we'll just call CPS on you. That happens a lot in North Carolina too, and it needs to stop. They use CPS as a weapon against parents.
Well, I know they do in schools. And by the way,
in the hospital
when I say they do in schools, guys, I'm talking about 1% of the population. Okay. I mean, it's an anomaly, but that's a never happen situation, not an acceptable amount that can happen. That can never happen. And in hospital too, foreign doctors coming in, I mean, God knows what will happen.
Right. And that's Attorney General Paxton stepped in there. But I bring this to your attention in North Carolina because it happens here, where CPS is engaged because a parent says things like, I want to get a second opinion. I'd like to take my child out of the hospital. You know what they do? They don't go, okay, that's your prerogative. You're the parent. They go, if you do that, we'll call CPS or DSS on you. Okay.
So I'm thinking, by the way, when you're speaking, how to protect and inoculate oneself from that. So what I would recommend, guys, because I'm just speaking from the hip, I would record conversations.
Exactly.
So if that happens, I would go in and take your phone. Actually, I've got my case here. But I just take your phone, put it.
I thought you were just using that once or twice, but it's really for real.
No, well, I'm not using it a lot. It just so happens that every time I'm showing my phone, I'm using it. But take it, put it down, and bring someone back in the room and say, "I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Is there?" Just say something like, "Is there any way I can?" Get them in a conversation, because I'm telling you, a lot of times, unfortunately, maybe they're maybe they're slack police officers, but they're inclined to believe their own rather than a parent.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be documented, everything, so that when you go to court, and sometimes you do have to go to court against government agencies, you've got everything locked up like an investigator from top to bottom.
Correct. I didn't want to take us too far off, because there have been other tragic children's deaths in North Carolina that are worthy of speaking about. But this particular one kind of captures the overarching theme of what's happened in North Carolina with young children, and the oversight by DSS, and how important it is that if you're in a community, you can be an activist for children and for families, and you should be, especially if you have a voice that you can use, leverage.
And I have a big mouth, and so do you. And we use it to full use here. I need to speak about this too. I have a friend of mine who works in a mental hospital for children. Thank you for the nice phone. I know, I love it. And you can practice your trigger pearls and annoy the living hell out of people when you're doing it.
Can you imagine taking that into the woke Starbucks in Raleigh?
I took it into the Godsmack concert. I had it tucked into my jeans, and I got stopped by security in the front, who were women, and said, "Oh my God, blah, blah." And then the guy security came by, and they're like, "Yeah, cool phone, go on in." But by the way, I want to tell you guys, I got roped into taking my daughter and 16-year-old girls tomorrow night to Kesha.
Tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night. I know.
Yeah.
I got to go. So I
promised just a few hours. I got roped into taking him on a cruise. What a dumb thing I did.
Well, look, I'm not done being pressured yet, so I'm sure the sky is. But anyway, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he works at a mental health facility for teens. Get this. He said that he is seeing a tremendous amount of psychosis, instantaneous psychosis from smoking vapes.
Really? Well, that makes sense, because they don't have any regulations or monitoring on what is in a vape.
Well, I mean, some cartridges are, some aren't, but the other product that's in there, I should know this, because I mean, look, when we were doing this reporting, pardon me? No.
Not caught. Okay.
No, hell no. But a filler, but when I'm continuing on, I'm just starting with my vape, in my vape shop investigation. But when I put stuff on Facebook, I would have, a lot of parents are concerned, but I'd have wise guys who are like, I mean, they're coming from the point of view, don't take my vape shops away, but they're bullshitting around and saying nobody can overdose on X, Y, or Z. Well, guess what? The chemistry of some people, you smoke it and lose your shit and go into psychosis, and you kick off sometimes psychiatric breaks that come up periodically. And
wow.
Yes. Well, I know that it happens on stimulants like meth, crack, etc. I did not know that it could happen in these vape products.
I did recently was communicating with a friend of mine who's a respiratory therapist, and there's a study out there about the number of young people who use vapes who are now having more issues with their respiratory than they've ever seen in young people. More than, like, it's not asthma, like it's worse. Like, they're having to go to respiratory therapy and have to look at their lungs and capacity from vaping.
I mean, anytime you breathe hot smoke into your lungs, that is never good. You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
But I guess what it might be is the delivery system might be more potent, maybe
and the
hotter,
chemicals.
carcinogenic.
Could be the chemicals, who knows? But the bottom line is, and I don't know that we've ever had this much respiratory therapists in the mainstream looking at it, but they are absolutely looking at it now, and they see a correlation because there's foreign elements in those vapes that are not accounted for.
Popcorn lung? That sounds.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Is that the technical term for it?
Yeah, it is. It's what your lungs look like when you vape.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, the goal tonight was to talk about children. We're doing that. Please say a prayer for me. I'm going to the GOP convention on Saturday.
Well, I'll be there on Sunday because I'm going to vote for a new RNC committee woman.
And it will not be
several of them that are running. One who has a bankruptcy in her past, and one who has a stalker in her friend group. And I'm not voting for any of them.
Well, I will be there, guys. So I will see you on Saturday. I'll be there in the early part of the day. So I will see a lot of you. And I'm sure we'll cross paths, Marco. So, all right, guys, we will be back. And thank you. Circulate this around. And remember, we have to protect our children. You can be an activist for children in your own community. So you got to do it. There's nothing higher order.
That's right. And volunteer if you can. You can be a guardian ad litem. You can be a foster parent. You can be a big brothers, big sisters person. You can do a lot of things. Not a pervert one. We got to go, Sloan.
That's a wrap on today's NC Political Tea. We hope you're leaving sharper, spicier, and ready to take on the political craziness in the Tar Heel State. If you loved what you heard, or even if it made you mad, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this show with your friends, family, and that one coworker who just needs the truth. Follow us on social media to stay in the loop and get your daily dose of conservative fire. And remember, here in North Carolina, the grassroots grows stronger when we stand together. Until next time, keep the faith, keep up the fight, and don't let the left water down your tea. This is NC Political Tea, where we spill it like it is.